Good morning, the Old Fisherman back with you again. Lake Monticello. Once again, we just getting here to the perch hole. Went over to the catfish hole. Caught me about a 4-pound catfish. I'll show him to you. Casting my gut shrimp, but that was the only one. I caught one more little one. But that's all I caught. He's pretty good at it. See that? Caught him over there on the catfish hole. Cast this morning. Thought I was going to catch something. That was the only one I caught. So, hey, you never know. But anyhow, he did hit my gut shrimp. I'll tell you what I done while I was over there, and I got it on now. I put a regular white gut shrimp on over there just to see if mine maybe wasn't good enough, and I never caught that one. I caught one little one on the white one. So I said, you know, they're not in here. And so what I do, I come over to the old perch hole again, and it's Thursday, and we are going to try to get back on some of these doggone white perch. And if that's what wants to bite, that's what we'll catch, you know. I'm not going to sit out here and fight catfish if I can't get on them like I want to. So I'm coming to the perch hole now. Right now, I got the regular gut shrimp on. We're going to give it a shot since I already got it on the hook. I changed over there. The only reason I got it on the hook, I like my jig, I'll be honest with you, but the gut shrimp does have the flavor, a smell, so maybe we'll catch a couple more catfish on it out here, yo-yo, and I'm just projecting, and I'm gonna put my other one back on if they don't hit it. I'll tell you that. It won't stay on long, this shrimp, if they don't bite it. But I still got mine on my 3-rig. But hey, they might not bite today. They've been pretty good yesterday. I had a good day. I mean, I could have caught more fish. I left, got to talking with Mike and left. I had 50 fish, 50 nice ones that I kept. And them was nice perch that I had yesterday, and I caught them on my little jig. So, hey, I don't know. They might not be out here today. Got cloudy conditions now. We got another type of day. Yesterday, bright sunshine. We got a little breeze coming out the southwest, and that's always a tough breeze right in here. It's going to come all the way across the lake to us. So I hope the wind don't bother us. I tried a little thing yesterday. I put me a shield behind my camera, and it made it worse. So I had to take that off, thinking it would help with the sound. I just had to shout because the wind made so much noise in my camera yesterday, and it might be doing the same thing today. I don't know, because it's blowing. You can see my shirt blowing. It's blowing. And hey, it's something you got to deal with out in this big water like this. And it looks like it's going to be a windy day, and it might whip around that phone. I don't know. Hey, but I'm hoping that it won't bother us. I think it was worse yesterday because I had that. I thought my idea was I was going to put this half-round plastic bottle behind my phone to let the sound capture behind the phone where the speaker is. But seemed like all it done, and I got 2 shows yesterday I probably can't air because there was a lot of wind noise. And we aired one of them, but probably won't air the other ones because of the wind noise. It was so bad you couldn't hear it. And so that didn't work, and it might not work any better today without it. So I don't know. This sound thing is the biggest part of this video, and I can get I got it set up where it's taking a fairly good picture of the fish coming out of the water and all, but the problem is it's putting the phone too high for my sound, and unless I go to Bluetooth, then and I don't know if that would work, then I got a problem there. So that's one thing right after another, trying to figure this stuff out and how to do it. I'll tell you that right now. It ain't easy. It's not easy. And now the fish don't seem to be biting. They're not even hitting the real gut shrimp. So that ain't good. And they could be shallow in there today. I just stopped on the first little ridge here. This is where I left them yesterday. It don't seem like they're here today, at least not on the end of it. Now they might be in the shallower. So it's cloudy conditions, high water, everything points to go shallower. And that's what we're probably going to have to do. So now, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this boat in to a shallower spot up here. We on the end where we caught them yesterday, and I see fish, but they don't look like the fish I'm looking for. It's a lot of carp in this lake. There's a lot of big shad in this lake. And they will fool you on that fish finder. You think you're seeing all kind of fish. It ain't the fish that you think you want. So let that be a lesson. People, while I'm going in here, I'm gonna tell a little story, and it'll be a good time to tell it because the fish ain't started yet. Years ago, I had my bass boat. I had a 150 horsepower engine, Mercury EFI on a 20-foot nitro, and I had a little cocker-pickapoo that I decided I was gonna take fishing. Well, I took that joker out fishing, and while we was fishing during the day, never been in the boat with me. And, they got the back deck on a bass boat. I went to take off. I wasn't paying no attention. I went about a mile up the lake, and I looked around, and my dog's gone. I ain't got no dog in the boat no more. Don't know what happened to him. I even looked in the ice chest. How could, just went crazy. I looking for the dog. Dog's gone. Dog's gone. I'm panicking. I'm about to go out of my mind panicking. I done lost my dog. In the lake. All I could do was shake my head and tears come to my eyes. I don't mind telling you. I love that dog. So I head back. I backtrack. 10 minutes later, I get back where I took off. There the dog was swimming around a circle out in the middle of the lake. That was Lake Murray. Lo and behold, I don't know if dogs, I don't think the dog had ever been in water. That was the first time. Because Mother Nature, they know how to swim, I reckon, automatic. The dog swimming around in circles. You talking about one glad daddy and one glad dog to meet each other. I pulled that sucker in like a wet noodle. Them old cocker-pickapoos had that long hair, and he was all, looked like a wet cat. That's what he looked like. Shaking like a leaf on a tree, scared to death. Done throw my dog out the boat. Old Fisherman is depressed because I done put my dog through all that shock. But luckily I found it, because if I wouldn't have found it, it would have been awful. I couldn't have went back home. But little story. So don't take your dog. If you take your dog in the boat, make sure when you take off, he ain't standing on the back deck and throw him out the boat. It did happen. And it can happen. I'm telling you, that was a good sight when I went up and I seen that dog out there swimming in the middle of the lake in a circle. He done drowned it because he wasn't going nowhere. He was just going in circles. Thank God he didn't drown before I got to him. That's all I can say. That happened, people. That happened. I ain't took a dog back to the boat since. Nope. I got two in the house. My wife wouldn't dare let me put them in the boat without her in the boat. I don't believe. And then, they get around the hooks and stuff. I got this boat. If I had a big boat, it'd be nice. But, little story, you dog owners, if you take them fishing, don't throw them out the boat. I've seen a fella since then. This is no joke. He had a kayak. This funny. He took his dog on the kayak. That joker had a life jacket on his dog. That brought back memories. I said, I need a life jacket on mine. But he had a life jacket on his dog. That dog, it was a bite. It was a bite. Might be a few fish down here a little shallow. Come in a little shallow, 41 foot. And that, whoa, there he goes. One done creamed it. Oh, my. One done creamed it. Oh, you gotta love it. Old Fisherman that stumbled on a white perch. Today, a little shallower. Hey, we might be on it. Look at that. Nice one. Now, he's on the gup shrimp. I'll give him credit. I'm fishing with the gup shrimp, and I ain't gonna take it off right now. I'm gonna leave it on. It bears up, then I'll put mine back on. But we on the gup shrimp this morning. Getting them their fair share. I say some things about gup, but let me tell you, they got a good product, and I probably shouldn't bash them. I'm just frustrated with gup and Berkeley baits and pier fishing because I really thought by now they would contact me. With all the shrimp that I've sold, I know that I've sold, never had no problem finding them until I started airing this, and I knew that was going to happen. That's why I took the videos out there before I started, and I just give up on them and done it anyhow. And I don't mind promoting a good plug, and it is a good plug. They love it, there's no doubt, and I appreciate Gup Shrimp coming up with that plug. I tell you I do. But I get mad at them sometimes and say things I probably shouldn't say, but I apologize for that. And hey, I'm doing that on my own. Ain't nobody said that to me yet. But I apologize for that. My wife don't like me bashing nobody, and I shouldn't bash them. I'm just frustrated with them because I feel like they ought to at least sell me some shrimp at cost as they sell them to the stores. That's all I'm asking. But I can't seem to get in contact. I'm probably dumb and I'm not doing it the right way. some guy says you're supposed to send your videos over a website, and I hadn't done that now. And you know, most of this stuff, and that's what happens. You get somebody complaining about things, like the Old Fisherman, it's ignorance, stuff that he don't know how to do. And it probably ain't got nothing to do with them. I'm just probably not doing the right channels. And I'm bad about that. Hey, we own some fish, people. We own some fish. And they biting the white gulp shrimp from Berkeley today. And that's nice. They biting it. So, hey, we're going to stick with it till they tear it up. I'm going to mix and match. I'm going to use mine and I'm going to use theirs. I'm going to mix and match. I'm going to get my fair shake. I am going to do that. And I apologize if I probably my ignorance the reason they haven't contacted me is I don't know what I'm doing. And apparently you can't go through a secretary or call in because that don't work. They got it where you can't just call in and talk to somebody. That ain't going to happen. And without knowing anybody, any people that got pulled or is involved with Berkeley baits, I can't do nothing about it. I'm sure if I could talk to the right person, we could work out something. At least I can get a couple shrimp and be glad to advertise, continue advertising for them. I'm doing it for nothing now though. But anyhow, I shouldn't talk bad about people like that. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But you folks, I wanted to tell you that little story about the dog, and I got another or two I want to tell you too. There's another Monticello white perch. The Old Fisherman is doing it again. Boy, I love these things. I don't mind telling you. I love these things. Next to my wife and my youngest, I ain't got nothing I love better. I tell you, one time I used to like hunting, but I got out of hunting. The older I get, the more sentimental I get, I guess. And I got these little snails that I don't want to shoot that no more. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just can't do that no more. I have changed. My old age has changed me. I used to not think about things like that, but I think about it now. So, hey, and I shouldn't say that, but that's the truth. I'm just too soft-hearted anymore. And I'm getting worse the older I'm getting. So when you're young, you don't think about things like I'm thinking about things now. I'll be honest with you. These fish are biting. There's some fish down there, plenty of them. Hey, we got the gulp shrimp and they biting it. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Oh my, you gotta love it. The old gulp shrimp does work. I promise you, it works. Ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt, and it might work better than my jig because of the scent. Now that, my friend, is a Monticello Slab Monster Jumbo Delight. You gotta love it on a white gulp shrimp. Oh my, the Old Fisherman is wound up here today on Lake Monticello. It's cloudy. He come in a little shallow. He stopped out there where he caught him yesterday deep, and it wasn't there now. We're in 39 foot of water, and we killing them. We killing them on Lake Monticello. I want to tell you another little story while they bite. You know, I can catch and talk to if they bite. But I'm telling you another little story. We used to make our buoys, and out on Lake Murray, we used to make cut a chunk of styrofoam about the size of the buoys you buy now, and we wrap line around it, and then we used that for a buoy when we threw out buoys back in the day. This was back in the 70s. And so, you know, I was looking for something to weight down my buoy to make it pull the string down and unwind the buoy while when you're marking the spots, you throw it out. Well, lo and behold, I couldn't find nothing. I ain't had no lead heavy enough. Couldn't find no bolts or nothing. And I looked over there and seen a spark plug. Champion spark plug. Well, I tied that sucker on the string. There's a bite. There's a bite hole. My, you got to love it. But I tied that sucker on a string, and I used it for the weight to pull down my buoy. These are nice perch, people. These are nice perch. You got to love it. But I used that thing for weight to pull that buoy down. Well, you know when it goes down, it kind of, as that styrofoam is turning on top of the water, it's making a kind of a up and down effect, I guess. It's stopping and going, stopping and going, stopping and going. And I marked my spot. I was catching little stripers back then. That's when there wasn't no size limit. We was catching little stripers. And I noticed, I was looking around for my buoy. I can't find my buoy. It's gone. I said, wait a minute. I knew I threw that thing out right here. And I'm looking. I look out there about 100 yards. And there that white styrofoam buoy is taking off across the lake. Taking off across the lake, going fish on it. Huh? I'm saying, what? A fish on a spark plug? Can't be. Well, can be. So what I do, I got to crank the motor up and go get my buoy. I mean, it's taking off. It's gone. That sucker had a weight behind it. Anyhow, I get out there to it, and he done took all the line. I probably had, I don't know, 70, 80 yards of line. Ooh, crushed it. 70, 80 yards of line out on that buoy, and that sucker, hey, where are we down here coming up like a bass? Big old Monticello white perch. Anyhow, the buoy's going across the lake, and I get up to it, and I grab it. Well, guess what? The doggone thing had a long catfish throat. It was a catfish. Whoop, 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 like that. I said, oh my. What? A catfish on a spark plug? Can't be. Well, it was. So I grab it, and I'm pulling up gently, because I know it ain't no hook on that spark plug. So he's had it in his throat. Probably done swallowed it down his belly. I said, I'm going to catch me a catfish on a spark plug with a line hooked to a buoy. That's what it was. So I'm easing it up a little bit at a time. He's just a pulling. Don't want to pull it out his belly. Well, you know old catfish, you get him up to the top, he's gonna wanna jerk right there, right before you get him up, this long jerk. He was a big catfish. Now this wasn't no baby. This here was kind of like that 20-pounder over yonder I caught the other day, or the 27-pounder. Anyhow, a big catfish like that. I get him right up, and you can see him turning and going on. Here I am, got the net, and right before I get the net on that sucker, he went, took a surge, and that thing pulled out his throat. I couldn't believe it. Oh, but this close. Caught me a monster catfish with a freaking spark plug on a buoy line. It happened. It happened, and it happened in Lake Murray, and on the other side of West St. Island. I'll tell y'all where it was at. Right on the back side of West St. Island is where it happened. And man, that was something. Now, that's close as I ever come, catching a fish on a spark plug with no hook. I'll tell you that come real close. Now, while I'm catching these fish, I got one more story. Now, I'm storytelling this morning, and I'm catching, I hope. The Old Fisherman loves to tell a story now. I hope you can hear me. I hope the wind ain't too bad. I'm telling it early because I know the wind's probably going to get better. Or get worse, rather. Anyhow, me and old boy, buddy of mine, Mike Riddle. I don't know if anybody knows Mike Riddle. I'm sure it's a lot of people know Mike Riddle because he's a well-known character around here. Fine fella, love him to death. Him and his wife Jackie, two fine people. Can't meet any better people. Got two good boys, and got a nice, wonderful family. And old Mike, now he has these dove fries. They all collect all the doves around the neighborhood, and he'll put a big old cooking every year. About coming up shortly, and he'll fry doves and marsh hens, quail, any kind of exotic eating, and have rice and gravy. You talking about some good eating? Oh, right. He'll have 100 people at it. And all men, no women. But a good fella. Me and him used to fish together. In fact, he was a big bird hunter. And me and him used to fish together. And he didn't, he was a bird hunter, and I adapted him over to fishing. We got to crappie fishing, and I got to show him how to do it. And that jugger went haywire, and up to this day, he's a good fisherman and a good crappie fisherman. And him and his wife Jack is both retired, and they go fishing about every day like me. And good people. And he loves catching them crappies. He's a good bass fisherman too. But back then, me and him, he run a little bait shop in Chapin, right where they just put the new Sonic in Chapin, South Carolina. Used to be a little liquor store sitting there, Miss Daisy's liquor store, and had a little shop there beside it, and he started that as a bait shop. Well, I back then was, I guided a little bit, and I took people out at night rock fishing, stripers, out of Putman's Landing with Mr. Bill Shipley, fine fella, and he'd take people out for $20 a person at night, and they catch the limit, and I come in, I work the next day, so I'd fish at night and work the next day. That was tough, but hey, we went right before it got dark, and we'd have the limit before midnight and be home, and I did that. But anyhow, I got onto the stripers out there really good at night fishing. And that was back before herring was in Lake Murray, and it wasn't any herring in Lake Murray. It was shad. So we used shiners back then, back in the late 70s, early 80s. It was right around 78 to 80, right in there. And in July, full moon in July, never forget it. When that moon was straight up in the middle of the night, when it started going down from straight up, going down toward 6 o'clock, from 12 to 6, we'll say, you could tear up some stripers at night with all you had a little light in the boat. You didn't have no light outside the boat, and we used to kill them. I mean, hey, we had a little boat, and it was something. 4 of us would go together, him and his wife, me and my wife, and we would go together, and we had a little old 14-foot boat, old Terry, and we used to catch so many, wasn't enough room for the people in the ice chest. We put us a daggone old trash can in there. Wouldn't be so big around, and we had things, you know, of course, back then you could catch 10. I think it was, yeah, you could catch 10. So that's 40 fish, 4 people. We'd have that thing so full the boat wouldn't even clean off. It'd take off and bow across the water. But me and old Mike, we drop it out, and we was out from Spence Island, between Spence Island and Lake Murray, where the river runs around Spence Island. Out in the middle, like there's a hump, and that's where we used to catch them back then. I ain't tried it in years, don't know if they still do it, but boy, they used to at night in hot summer. You go at night, catch them. Drop it down 30 foot, pull it up about a foot off the bottom with them shiners about 2.5, 3 inches long, and tear them up. And we didn't have rod holders. We just laid the rod down on the seat and watch you one ride, because hey, they jerk it out the boat. Sometimes you get 2 of them, you know, out each one of you have 2. But me and Mike was out there, and I dropped the doggone shiner down and looked around at him for something, and I heard something. I looked out, my rod gone. Boop, out the boat, gone. Rockfish striper. It done hit it, jerked it out the boat. I said, what? I said, well, that's good. That's gone. We'll never catch him. I messed around there with a bumping plug, tried to find it, couldn't find it. I'm gone. It's in the middle of the night, dark. You know, we marked ourselves like I do in the daytime with 2 points, and I used lights that was there on the bank, certain lights that stayed on all night, and zeroed in on where we would fish. So the rod's gone. Make a long story short, we went home. We caught the limit, went home. Next night, we going back. Well, I done got me another rod at this point. That was my favorite rod. The old short rod had a soft tip on it. They could pull down and not know they was hooked. I mean, you been a fishing, you want a soft tip on the end of your rod. Back then, anyhow, where they can pull it down and swallow it before they can feel resistance on the rod. So you want a soft tip. Well, and we're using a number, I think, a number 2 Eagle Claw short shank hook. Back then, what we used. So what we do, we go back the next night. Well, we catch a fish, everything's cool. Now, we threw out the anchor. We throw out the anchor back then and hold us in one spot. And we sitting there, and something got on my line. I said, I got something, a stick or something. I said, you don't guess that I done hooked my rod that was jerked out the boat last night. Lo and behold, come up and my hook and went into NI on that rod, and I brought that rod in at night and caught my rod and brought it in the boat. Mike Riddle will tell you this day, he'll vouch for that happened. Now that just goes to show you, and I'm a brag a little bit on this one. That just goes to show you how good I am getting back on a spot, even at night. I had lined up here, lined up there with lights, and got back on the same exact spot my rod fell out the night before. And that, my friend, is what you call experience to get on fish. And I've been doing it all my life, and that's why I don't throw out a buoy no more, because, hey, I ought to throw out a buoy, put a hook in it with a spark plug, maybe I catch a catfish. But I don't throw out a buoy anymore because I don't have to. I can stay where I need to stay by instinct. And that's the three stories I got, life stories, things that happened to me in my lifetime. And I keep coming up with things that I think back that's happened, and I want to tell y'all and share that with y'all. But hey, we got to start, folks, and we got to get back on some fish. I dropped in here, I was tearing them up. Now I'm 35 foot of water. So I lose my focus, and I know where I was at, right back up here, but I moved back down. But there's still a few bumping it. There's still a few bumping it. And this fish out here, so we will catch some more. We caught, hey, while I was talking, we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 10 fish in there. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. That little storytelling, we caught 10 fish. So, hey, we gonna get back on them. I promise you, we gonna get back on them. Right now, they not under there like they was. And this gut shrimp, like I always say, is tearing up, sliding down where mine don't. Doggone it. I wish they was a little tougher. I guess they can't have them tougher though to have the scent. The scent thing makes them soft, and it holds the scent better if it's softer. Mine is hard as a rock, it's regular old hard rubber, and I guess you can get different rubbers. I might can get a rubber that would hold the scent. But you know, there again, I got to stay home from fishing to do all this stuff. Maybe I'm on vacation, I'll investigate some things. And 10 days I ain't gonna be fishing. More than 10 days, because I ain't gonna be fishing. Matter of fact, we leaving next Wednesday. I probably won't be fishing next week hardly at all. I got to get ready to go. I got to make sure everything's in operation with my travel trailer, and so things always happen with that. You know, that's about like a pool. Something wrong all the time. But anyhow, hey, if I didn't take my wife on her vacation, that'd be awful. That'd be worse than me talking about a hair. I got to be pretty bad for her not to go on vacation. So it will happen. And we probably, last year we went twice. This year we probably won't go but once. We go 10 days this year. I'll be so sick of the beach, I won't know how to act. After about 5 or 6 days, I'm ready to come home. My wife's ride around that golf cart for a month and not get tired of it. You know. But hey, my problem is I get thinking about fishing. And I don't take no rods because I don't need to go fishing when I'm on vacation down there, because if I do, then, and I used to now, let me tell you, I got another story. I used to take my little rod and my throw net, and we went to Pirate Land Campground and Lakewood, either one of them. In between them two campgrounds is a big old lake. I say a big old lake, it's a pond, is all it is. But that pond has got salt water in it and fresh water that run off the streets. But the salt water comes in from a creek that comes off the ocean. And so it's got brackish water, is what it is. And it's got flounder in it. And you're talking about having a good time. Oh my. I can take my throw net, and catch me some little mullets. And I'd hook that thing on a rod very similar to what I got right here, this casting rod, ultralight. And put me a small little hook on it, hook me a mullet minnow and tiny lead, and just work that thing in like an artificial worm. And I have got pictures of flounder you would not believe I caught out of that lake. I mean, we used to tear them up in that lake. And they still in there. They still in that lake, and you can still catch them. But my wife likes to go to Ocean Lake, and they got lakes too, little ponds, but they all fresh water. No flounder that I found in it. And but that lake is a Pirate Land Campground. It's them little ponds, especially the one up there. Now you got one between Lakewood and Pirate Land. That pond is the best one. It's the biggest, and it's got the most flounder in it. But they got a little pipe that runs into where the kiddie boats is at Pirate Land campground. If that little pipe, they got a block that blocks salt water from coming in, but this flounder caught up in there where you do the paddle boats. And if you get a little salt water coming in and going into that little pond through that little gate they got, if you pull it and get a little salt water coming in there, you stand right there on that little pipe and tear up some big flounder, buddy. I caught some whoppers. You better have a net, because there's something in there weighs 5 or 6 pounds or bigger. And you might catch a bass or flounder in the same place. And that's the way it is in that pond. But I'd throw that little cast net out there, and I'd save up my little mullets. Woo, I got a nice fish right there. I'd save up my mullets, and I'd have a little minnow bucket there floating in the water to keep them alive, and I would fish, and I'd sit there and I'd catch 30, 40 flounder while I was down there, and out of them ponds. And I could have made some videos doing that if we still going there. If I was still going to Pirate Land campground, I'd take my rod and my throw net and I would probably make a video right there catching flounder. But at Ocean Lakes, and the reason we go to Ocean Lakes versus the other ones, I do like Pirate Land as much as Ocean Lakes is smaller. But Ocean Lakes, you can take your own golf cart and you ain't got to rent a golf cart. Pirate Land's smaller, you really don't need a golf cart. I used to take my bicycle with the basket and built me a big basket to go on there and carry my metal bucket and stuff. And used to go from them ponds to ponds catching them big old flounder out of them ponds, and I miss it. I enjoyed myself. In there. Back years ago, when I was a kid, my oldest sister, Shirley, and her husband, they camped all the time. That's how I got started in this. And my daddy run a filling station. We didn't go on vacation. Hey, you run a store, that's all you did. That was your life. And I knew right there at a young age I didn't want to run no store. But hey, we never got to do nothing. So I went on vacation with my sister and my brother-in-law, Harvey. And we would go to Pirate Land campground. Back then in the same lake that I caught them flounders in, they were probably in it then, I just didn't know how to catch them. And catch bluegill brim, I mean, we caught them in there one time on the bed, and we had the whole picnic table full of brim, and we cooked them things, and man, that was some fun. And as a little child, I started fishing and going camping. We had a little, one of them pop-ups, they call them, campers. They back then they didn't have the fancy stuff they have now. We didn't even have air conditioning. And but anyhow, we done a lot of that. And I seen my brother-in-law, I'll never forget it, Harvey, throw a top water plug into that little pond for bass, and there was some alligators in that little pond. Well, old alligator was out there swimming around. What's Harvey do? He threw that top water plug over there by that alligator. That alligator smacked down on that top water plug and took it all the way to the other side of the lake, took all of his line, broke it off, took his top water plug and everything. I'll never forget that either. That happened. So if you see an alligator floating around, you might not want to throw your good top water plug by it, because he will take it. All right, storytelling's over. We got to get to fishing. We done told a bunch of stories. I done pulled up 100 yards here. I'm not even nowhere close to where I was at talking. So we're going to focus. We're going to get back here to catching some more fish in Lake Monticello. This time we got the gup shrimp on, but it ain't lasting. It's them couple fish, 12 of some fish, is done tore my gup shrimp up already. They bite it, but it don't last. And that's the white. That's one of the toughest ones there is. That and the molten color. The molten color might be a little tougher than the white. But the rest of them, the new penny and the natural, they are really soft. They really soft. Let me tell you, they really soft. All right, we got to get back on them. I pulled way up, way off of them. Get back on them and try to catch some more of these Monticello white perch. Catch a couple more and let you go. We're gonna tell some long stories. I know it's getting low, and we're gonna focus on another video catching some fish this time instead of storytelling. But I had to tell them stories. Some things I thought of last night. sometimes I got to think of things and remember my stories, what I need to tell, and that's what we've done. I thought about a few last night. But again, I want to thank old Mike Brandon. He's a buddy of mine I've met through my shows. He was out here yesterday and he gave me 2 packs of gut shrimp. Now the Old Fisherman, along with the old broke-back Fisherman, they give me a couple. Now I got me 2.5 packs of gut shrimp to use, along with my homemade jigs. And Mike give me a doggone another one of them beautiful bumping spoons. I'm gonna show you. I wouldn't show you that day, but I'm gonna show you this one. Oh, Mike, he's a good fella. I wish he lived close to me. But anyhow, hey, Mike, give me this little spoon. Ain't he pretty? Look at that thing. That thing's pretty. I mean, that thing's pretty. And hey, we gonna catch some fish off of it. I'm scared to use it. I don't want to lose it. So I got to put it up in a safe place. Next winter, I might bring it out here today. I know I'm not on too much trash right here, and I might bring it out here today. But you know, I'm gonna tell you, old Mike's a good fella. I talked with Mike. We sat out here and talked for an hour yesterday. I couldn't catch any fish because I couldn't focus. I was talking to Mike. But hey, it saved a few fish's lives. I caught 50. I didn't want to clean them more none. Let me tell you, this cleaning fish is getting old. That's